Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Dramatic introduction completed. I enjoyed that very much and I got my steps in. It's a win-win all round. Today's video is about feedback. Now, if you're an author, maybe you're a bit like me, the idea or the thought of getting feedback is pretty scary. It's something I've never liked the idea of. Maybe I've just got a massive undeserved ego. Maybe I'm just a bit sensitive. I don't know. It's just the idea of someone tearing apart the work I've done on a novel or whatever it may be. It just makes me so nervous. But if you want to write a book, you have to get feedback at some stage. If you want to be like Lee Child, then you need to receive feedback on your work. So that's what I did. I'm working on a debut novel. It's a crime thriller. The manuscript's complete, or I thought it was complete. It's not. And I basically sent out the first chapter to a professional author to have a look and see what she thought of it. And I'm going to run you through the feedback. Mostly this is going to be about the stuff that I did wrong, because if I was to focus on the stuff I did right, it would be a very short video and you probably wouldn't learn as much, because I think a lot of people do a lot of things right, but actually it's the stuff you do wrong you want to work on, isn't it? Because that's how we get better. So without much further ado, let's go through it. I'm not going to tell you the name of the book I'm working on, but I'll tell you the abbreviation, which is THG. So THG, feedback. Let's go. So first up, what did I do right? The author said that there was some good prose. So what is prose? It's basically the stuff in between the dialogue, like the filler, setting the environment, the scene, the pace, the environment, what's going on with the characters, what do they look like, what are they doing, just stuff to, like I say, set the scene and take you through the story, take the characters from A to B, and most importantly, take the reader from A to B with them. So the author said the prose was good, it was a good start to the story. She also said the dialogue was good. So what does that mean? Basically, when I started the first chapter, I did a bit of prose at the start, so just like a few sentences to set it up. But then I went straight into the dialogue, straight into a conversation, and tried to make it as memorable as possible. And she said this was good because you're taking the reader straight into the scene and it's quite engaging. And next, good potential. So this is a kicker. This is what you hear when you're about to get ripped to shreds. But she said, look, it's got a lot of good potential if you work on the following. So now I'm going to share with you the following. Firstly, show, don't tell. Now this one was confusing for me. I always thought when it came to popular commercial fiction, especially if you want to be like Lee or someone like Robert Crace or whoever it may be, really you're trying to get the reader through to the good bits and you want to, reveal what's going on. And it's not high fiction, it's not highbrow, it's not literary. This is meant to be just describing what's taking place, not necessarily in a sophisticated way. So I adopted that with this draft of the manuscript. And the author, one of the first things she said was, show, don't tell. This is advice I've always ignored, even though it comes up a lot for authors. If you're an aspiring writer, you've probably come across it before. What does it mean? It basically means show the reader what's going on rather than telling the reader what's going on. You want to reveal things as they happen. You don't want to say that they're dangerous. You want the reader to draw their own conclusions based on the setting, based on what they're saying, based on what they're doing. So show, don't tell, that was number one. Again, something that's always confused me. I thought maybe with commercial popular fiction it didn't matter, but the author seems to think so, and I think she knows what she's doing. So that's something I'm working on. Number two, be clear. Now, when I sent this manuscript out, I sent it out in omniscient third person. That's the narration that I chose. What is that? It's basically saying she went to the park, he went to the pub, he hit him in the face, he said ow. Like it's from an omniscient kind of all-powerful narrator who knows exactly what's going on and they're just relaying the details. So I chose that one because I thought it'd be easier for my first novel because I could jump between characters and try and set up more of a comprehensive kind of plot. The problem with that is that I was doing this narration and because the first scene has about 3 different characters in there and there's a few different things going on, there's dialogue happening, there's some action here and there where the characters are doing things, going about their business, and it became a bit confused. It was a bit clunky and most importantly it really wasn't very clear. So the author said you need to be clear. If you have a narration, whether that's first person, so I did this, I did that, or third person, he did this, she did that, then you need to stick with it and you need to make it consistent. Otherwise, the reader feels a bit seasick, they don't really know what's going on, and you end up confusing people. Just because it's clear in your mind doesn't mean it's going to be clear in the reader's mind. You need to be super, super clear. So that was the second point. Be clear about what you're writing. Next, 3, dialogue. Now I know I tricked you because I said the dialogue was the good part of the work, and in some ways it was. However, one of the characters, maybe, I don't want to give away any spoilers, has a slight accent, and I thought I would try and reveal that lack of English through the way they were speaking English. So I ended up sort of being overly formal with the way the character was speaking, and the author picked up on that straight away, basically said it was clunky. So you do not want clunky dialogue, you want it to feel natural. Don't overthink it. We speak a certain way, you know how to speak and have conversations, you do it your whole life. Dialogue in a book is very different to dialogue in real life, but you should try and make it as natural as possible. I was overthinking it, making it too formal. Say it out loud. If it sounds weird, it probably is a bit weird. It needs to be changed. So avoid the clunky dialogue. I mean, in hindsight, I made the guy sound like he had some sort of difficulty, some sort of speech impediment. Didn't mean to. Accidents happen. This is a big one, all right? Learn the rules of direct speech. I've been a reader my whole life. If you're like me, you probably have been as well. And in my head, I just thought I'll work out as I go along. It's speech marks, 66, 99, job done. Commas, bang, bang, bang. I found out there's more to it than that. You need to learn the rules of direct speech. And why do you have to follow the rules? Because it makes it clearer to the reader, then they know exactly what's going on. So if you're like me and you think you have an understanding of how direct speech works in the context of a novel, if you don't know fully, learn it. I've had to. I'm still not there yet, but it's amazing when you sit down and actually study a book and the way that writing is delivered on a more technical level, you realise, well, at least I did, I had no idea what I was doing. So it's good to learn the rules, learn about direct speech in particular. That was a big one for me, and I basically had to go through the whole manuscript and change things. But that is how it goes. That is basically all the feedback. So show, don't tell, you want to reveal things to your characters, you want to be clear. If you have a point of view, stick with it for clarity for the sake of the reader so they know what's going on at all times. Avoid the clunky dialogue, keep it natural as possible, and learn the rules of vocabulary, in particular the rules of direct speech. This final point is not a feedback point, but it's something that's completely changed my life now that I'm a full-time writer. I basically wrote the whole manuscript. It got to about 80,000 words, just under 80,000 words, and this was well after I received the feedback as well for the first chapter. So at this point, I'd gone through it all, and I thought, okay, you know what, before I send it out to agents, I'm going to go over it all again, and then I'll be ready. I'll just ping it out, no problem. I started reading out loud what I had written, and on the first chapter, I was like, shit, awful. Like, I was reading it out loud, and I thought, oh no, I think the whole book needs to be changed like this. And lo and behold, I got to the second chapter, same thing, had to make a load of changes. Third chapter, same thing, loads of changes. Don't get me wrong, these changes are much, much better. I can see it already, it's much, much better, far more in line with that initial feedback I received several months ago, however long ago it was. So it's a good thing. All those things of the feedback, the negative feedback I just listed, the best way, in my opinion, to solve that, and it's not complicated at all, read it out loud. You will know by speaking out loud the words you're putting on the page, whether it's natural, whether it's not natural, whether you're being too obvious with your wording, whether you're not clear enough, if you're making the reader feel seasick, if something doesn't make sense. You say out loud, it all becomes so clear so quickly. That is the top tip. Look, like Lee Child says, your voice needs to be in the manuscript you're writing. Your book needs to have an authentic, organic voice of its own. But don't shy away from feedback. That's part of the machine, it's part of the game. Learn the rules of direct speech. Whatever you do, Be clear in your writing. Show, don't tell. Sometimes I'm working on this one. And most importantly, just keep writing. Read over everything you write out loud. Make sure it's clear. Make sure it makes sense. And keep on going. Keep on banging it out day in, day out. Put the words on a piece of paper. And don't give up. Look, when I received the feedback, I realised I'm not a genius. I'm not a one-off genius that I'll write a piece of work and it's ready for publication immediately. It was a shock to me for sure, but I'm over it now. That's how it has to be to produce something that's truly excellent. You need help. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you take some hints and tips for yourselves and let me know how you get on. I want to know. I want to connect with other writers. Frankly, I don't meet any other writers. I know one guy who's a writer. Apart from that, no one was interested. So if you're a writer, comment in the section below. I want to hear from you. Reach out to me, message me. I'm about. Let's go.